She had been serving authentic Mexican food from this battered truck for 8 months now, ever since losing her job as a line cook when the restaurant closed. The truck had been her grandmother's legacy, passed down with recipes written in faded Spanish on index cards that smelled like cumin and hope. But hope didn't pay bills, and the city's notice about unpaid permit sat crumpled in her apron pocket like a ticking time bomb. "Next!" Maya called out, forcing brightness into her voice as she served a construction worker his usual 2 street tacos and a smile that masked her exhaustion. The lunch rush was almost over and she'd made maybe $40. At this rate, she'd be closing down within the week. That's when she noticed him. Standing at the back of her dwindling line was a man in an expensive charcoal suit, his silver hair perfectly styled. Checking what looked like a Rolex, he seemed completely out of place. Among the construction workers, office assistants, and college students who usually frequented her truck. His polished leather shoes probably cost more than she made in a month. Maya's stomach tightened. Rich guys like him usually ordered one item, paid with a $100 bill expecting change, and complained about wait times. She'd dealt with enough entitled customers to recognize the type. As he moved closer to the front, she steeled herself for another difficult interaction. The man in front of him ordered quickly and left. Now it was just the suited stranger, standing there with an unreadable expression, studying her hand-painted menu board. "Oh, what can I get you?" Maya asked flatly, not bothering with her usual warmth. He was quiet for a long moment, just looking at her. Something about his gaze felt familiar, but Maya couldn't place it. Probably just another businessman who thought food trucks were beneath him. "I'll take 3 carnitas tacos. Extra cilantro and, He paused. "Do you still make that verde salsa the way your grandmother taught you?" Maya's blood turned to ice. She stared at him, really looked at him for the first time. The expensive clothes, the confident posture, the way he stood, it was all different. But those eyes, those same dark brown eyes that used to light up when she'd sneak him extra food during his dishwashing shifts 15 years ago. "For Marcus?" she whispered. He smiled then, the same crooked grin she remembered from their teenage years, working together at El Corazon restaurant. "Still remember me?" The spatula slipped from Maya's numb fingers, clattering against the truck's metal floor. Marcus, Rivera, the quiet kid who'd worked double shifts to help his single mother pay rent. The boy who'd shared his employee meal with her when she couldn't afford lunch. The young man who disappeared one day with nothing but a note saying he'd gotten a scholarship to business school and a promise that he'd never forget. Where he came from. I can't believe it's you," Maya stammered, her professional facade crumbling. "You look so, different?" Marcus chuckled, but there was something sad in his voice. "Success has a way of changing how people see you, usually not for the better." Maya realized she'd been staring at him like he was a stranger, treating him with the cold indifference she reserved for customers who looked down on her. Shame flooded through her as she remembered how Marcus had always treated everyone with respect, regardless of their position. "The tacos, she said quickly, turning to prepare his order. Her hands shook as she warmed the tortillas. "Verde salsa, right? Just like Abuela taught me." As she worked, Marcus leaned against the counter. "I heard about your grandmother passing." Elena was a remarkable woman. She saw something in a scrawny kid from the wrong side of town when no one else would give me a chance. Maya's eyes filled with tears. Her grandmother had indeed taken Marcus under her wing, teaching him not just about food, but about dignity, hard work, and treating people with kindness. Elena had always said Marcus would do something special with his life. "She was right about you," Maya said softly, sliding the plate of tacos across the counter. "That'll be $8.50. Marcus pulled out his wallet, not the $100 bill she'd expected, but a worn 20. "Keep the change. And Maya?" He took a bite of the taco, his eyes closing in apparent bliss. "These taste exactly like I remember. Elena would be proud." The simple words broke something inside Maya. All the stress, fear, and loneliness of the past months came pouring out. "She would have been disappointed in me," she whispered. "I'm failing, Marcus. The truck, the business, everything's falling apart. I can't even afford to keep her recipes alive." Marcus set down his taco, his expression shifting to one of deep concern. What do you mean? Through tears, Maya explained everything: the mounting debts, the permit issues, the dwindling customers, the notice from the city. She told him about working 18-hour days just to scrape by, about choosing between buying ingredients and paying her rent, about the constant fear that she was letting down her grandmother's memory. Marcus listened without interruption, his jaw tightening with each detail. When she finished, he was quiet for a long moment. "You know what I do now?" he asked finally. Maya wiped her eyes with her apron. "Something successful, obviously. I run Rivera Holdings, real estate development mostly. We're building that new mixed-use complex downtown. You might have seen the signs." Maya's heart sank further. Of course he was. Successful beyond her wildest dreams, while she couldn't even keep a food truck afloat. The gulf between their lives had never felt wider. "That's amazing if she managed. Elena always said you'd make it big." Marcus shook his head. "Making it big means nothing if you forget the people who helped you get there. Elena didn't just teach me about food. Maya, she taught me about community, about taking care of each other. And right now, someone who matters to me needs help, okay?" He pulled out his phone and made a quick call. "Sarah, it's Marcus. I need you to handle something immediately. There's a food truck permit issue." Maya watched in stunned silence as Marcus efficiently resolved her permit. Problems with a few phone calls. But he wasn't done. "Here's what's going to happen," he said, sliding a business card across the counter. "That new complex I mentioned? The ground floor is going to have a food court. Local vendors only. I want authentic, community-driven businesses, not chains. Maya's kitchen needs to be there. Marcus, I can't afford The space rent is waived for the first year. After that, it's percentage-based, so you only pay when you're successful. There's also going to be catering opportunities for my company's events, and I know several other business owners who'd be interested in your food." Maya stared at him, overwhelmed. "Why? Why would you do this?" Marcus's expression grew tender. "Because 15 years ago, a scared kid with holes in his shoes walked into El Corazon looking for work. Elena could have hired anyone, but she chose to see potential instead of poverty. And you—" his voice caught slightly. "You shared your lunch with me every day for 3 months until I got my first paycheck. You treated me like family when I had none." "That was nothing," Maya whispered. "Anyone would have, no, they wouldn't have. Most people looked right through me. But Elena saw my hunger, not for food, but for a chance. And you saw a friend, not a charity case. That kindness shaped everything I became." Marcus finished his tacos and stood, straightening his expensive suit. "Success isn't about forgetting where you came from, Maya. It's about remembering who helped you climb up and throwing them a rope when they need it." He handed her an envelope. "This should cover your immediate expenses and give you a cushion while we get the new location ready. Consider it an investment in Elena's legacy." Maya opened the envelope with shaking hands. Inside was a check for an amount that would solve every financial problem she had, with enough left over to properly equip her new kitchen. "I can't accept this," she said, even as tears of relief streamed down her face. "You're not accepting it," Marcus replied with that familiar crooked grin. "You're earning it. I expect the best damn Mexican food in Seattle at my new complex. Elena's recipes deserve to feed this whole city." As Marcus walked away, Maya called after him. "Marcus! Will you come back?" He turned, and for a moment, she saw not the successful CEO, but the young man who'd once dreamed of making something of himself while washing dishes and sharing stories over employee meals. "Every week," he promised. "I've got 15 years of meals to catch up on." 6 months later, Maya's kitchen was the crown jewel of the Rivera Holdings food court. The line of customers stretched around the block, but Maya never forgot the lesson Marcus had taught her that day. Success wasn't about the money in the register or the awards on her wall. It was about the community she'd built, the employees she'd hired from the neighborhood, and the kindness she paid forward every single day. And every Thursday at 12:30 sharp, a man in an expensive suit would join the line, waiting patiently like everyone else for 3 carnitas tacos with extra cilantro and verde salsa. just the way Elena had taught them both that food. Like kindness tastes best when it's shared.